everyone. Today I wanted to share with you two little processes of two paintings I did this past weekend. And in doing so, I want to explain why, first, I love quitting my artwork before it's complete, and second, why unfinished art is just so beautiful to me. How I can set out to paint something perfect and instead stop myself when I've painted something beautiful. I was speaking with a friend the other week, she's an artist as well, and we were talking about how photorealistic art is very interesting in the sense that, of course, it takes an absolute incredible combination of talent and practice and skill set and eye for detail and so many other things, but that it is quite curious that people paint in order to create a perfect copy of life. How yes, it is so challenging, and I have so much respect for those who do it, but it kind of made us wonder, why do people create art that looks like a photograph when you can just take a photo of something? If you can't see the brush strokes, then what's the point? Which I think is a question everybody in the art world, or maybe not everybody, but I definitely asked, and I think it's a good thing to question all different aspects of art. Is it because when you look at that painting, you can marvel at the talent behind creating this replica of life? Or is it because you know it took tens of hours to complete? Or is it something else? When cameras didn't exist, I understand wanting to create these images, but what about today? I personally think photorealistic paintings have always drawn me, but something about seeing those paintings finished is almost unsatisfying to me, which is a very strange sensation. Yes, they are stunning and beautiful, but what really draws me, for instance, when I first started painting and I would see portrait time lapses on YouTube, it was the unfinished ones in the thumbnail images that drew me in. So artists who paint what they see, each brushstroke radiating outwards from the first, as if uncovering a photograph beneath the canvas. When just the eyes were finished, or the nose, or puzzle pieces of the face, I think the reason I find those so beautiful is because they prove to me that this is a painting. It isn't a photograph, no matter how realistic it may appear. This is art. Not that photography isn't art, of course, but it's for this reason that I do so much to preserve the stages of my artwork when I'm trying to paint in a realistic way. So I take pictures as I uncover the person's eyes and nose and lips. It is just so fascinating to me seeing artwork this way. And it proves that humans are capable of recreating something as intricate as the human face. And so sometimes I quit. I will set out to paint a complete portrait and stop at the eyes, or I'll paint a landscape and allow the untarnished sketch beneath to appear at the edges. It's this kind of weird form of validation in saying, yes, I painted that, even if it isn't perfect, even if the proportions or colors are off, even if it isn't a complete painting that looks like a photograph. That doesn't really matter because it was painted. The second part of this I wanted to talk about was unfinished art. And it's a little bit different for me than quitting. This is because I train myself to lay down each detail as it appears. So quitting would mean once I finish the eyes, I put down my brush before I can get to the nose. And allowing my work to remain unfinished, however, is a training exercise for me. It's a way to escape from the details. It is laying down blocks of paint and allowing myself to add color on top of color in an impressionistic way, and promising myself I'll finish the details eventually, but then stopping. Unlike the other part of this, which is feeling so content with where a piece is in its half uncovered beauty that I can't bring myself to risk ruining it, this method is different. In that case, I take pride in the details and accuracies, and here I do not allow myself to get into the details. The sketch is made with a terracotta underlayer instead of carefully penciled lines. The brushstrokes are large and sloppy until I feel as though the colors have been relayed, and then I stop. and I don't need to cover the mess of the background sketch. I don't need to paint the veins in the eyes or the freckles on the tear duct. I just let the painting sit as it is. I don't paint the details, I paint the light and the greens and blues that seem so wrong at first but work out in the end. I think there is just so much beauty in life, and I think that there is so much beauty in art, but I find even more beauty in seeing life in art while recognizing that it is not life. I like this distinction because I was able to create the art with my hands. I just think that is so fascinating and wonderful, and the more art I do, the more beauty I see in the world, but that's a topic for another video. I hope you enjoyed these processes, and I hope some of you resonated with my little discussion. If you didn't, that's okay, and I hope one day you try setting out to paint something perfect and instead stop yourself when you've painted something beautiful.